You've heard the term talk is cheap. Our next guest contends it's the first step to taking action. Welcome to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Ken Ackerman. Please welcome Adam Davis. He's the Executive Director of Oregon Humanities. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, Ken.
Oregon Humanities, explain exactly what that group does.
Sure. What we're trying to do is, as you said, we're trying to get people talking, both in community, sometimes in the workplace, sometimes in pubs, places where you don't expect. And we're trying to get people sort of thinking again about things that we might take for granted, why we're committed to what we're committed to, and especially hearing from people we are likely to disagree with or differ from in some significant way.
So you're really a professional town hall facilitator.
In some way, we're trying to facilitate different forms of town halls, and we're trying to, I think, strengthen towns, not just towns, but the larger community that is Oregon and even beyond Oregon, by example. But yeah, we're trying to get people talking in the humanities. The strange word in our title is essentially a tool that we use to anchor discussions, enrich them, deepen them, challenge people to re-examine their own assumptions, and think fresh.
So you have what's called Think and Drinks.
Yeah.
Now, I asked you, I said, you drink in that sort of situation, you're going to create tension, but you say, well, that's not a bad thing.
Consensus is often not real, it's often shallow. We tend to agree when we think we should agree. I think you take any group of people in the room, we could look around at the folks in this room where we're being videotaped right now, and we might look like we are on the same page about something. You get a really good question about something that matters to all of us in front of us, and you find ways to open that question up, and I think we'd see all sorts of difference of opinion, all sorts of diversity emerge. And I suspect we'd walk out of that room actually feeling more hopeful about the community we live in, having seen that the people there are as complex as we feel ourselves to be.
So give me an idea of some of the topics you would broach. What was the last Think and Drink? What was the subject?
So most recently in Portland at the Mission Theater as part of a year-long series on how to love America. So on different ways we're committed to this country. The theme was military service. And so we had Carl Marlantes, an Oregon-born author of Matterhorn and What It Is Like to Go to War, talking with Cameron Smith, the Director of Veterans Affairs in Oregon. And really interesting questions about what does it mean to send thousands of our young people off to war in different places around the world? How are we preparing people for that? What does it mean for us, those of us who aren't going? And how do we bring people back so that re-entry works?
So the ultimate outcome, Adam, looking at this from outside in, what will be the ultimate outcome of getting people together, not on the same page, because that's not what you're looking to do. You're looking to get them together to understand each other. What will be the outcome?
I think there are a few different kinds of outcomes. So I think the first one is it strengthens communities in that if you break down communities, what are communities? It's their relationships, their sets of relationships. And even if I don't agree with you at the end of a conversation, if I've heard you express your thoughts and why you think them, I'm more likely to engage in productive work with you in the future, productive exchange. It's just, in a way, it's a very human outcome, which is I start to recognize that that person I disagree with about guns, for example, that's a human being. She has really good reasons for thinking what she thinks. It's going to be easier to smile at that person, say hello, and then when something starts to heat up, when something starts to move towards a crisis, there are habits and practices in place that make it much easier for us to disagree productively and do work together.
You have a gentleman named William Volman coming to the Mission Theater, so if you're interested, you can go on the website. We have it here for you. He looked at his FBI file and found out he was being investigated as the Unabomber. What a great subject. We're going to have you back on to talk to you more about this. But Adam Davis, thank you very much for joining us. We want to thank you for being here as well on Comcast Newsmakers in Tigard at the Broadway Rose Theater. I'm Ken Ackerman. Make it a great day.